What's up, strangers? Lambrains here on behalf of the Redstone Factory with our very first installment of Beginner Mondays. We're doing this because some of you know zip about Redstone. So, we have created this series to teach you a little bit about what Redstone is, what it does, and how awesomely useful it is. So, today we're going to cover the basics pretty quick and teach you about logic gates. Logic gates are these simple little things that can be used to make different stuff inside your house or to make traps and just different ways to affect redstone. So, like the AND gate here, it's pretty cool. The OR gate, all these fancy gates, all just different ways of how levers and torches, redstone, and the use of blocks can all affect different stuff. So, let's get started. The very first one is the AND gate. You're going to have two torches on a block, two inputs because it's going into the block, that's why they're called inputs, and multiple, right here I just have one output, which is going out from the block. This little thing right here just mimics, see how that's on and this is on, it just mimics what the output is, so I can show you from back here. So, the reason this is called an AND gate is because this switch and this switch both have to be either in the on position or the off position to change this output. So right now they're both on and this one's off. Now, if you turn one of these off, it's still going to change it so that this is on. But if they're both off, then it's on. But so really the only way that this is going to affect the output is if both of them are on. Only one of them really has to be off to change it. So this is helpful for doors working with the inside and the outside, and different traps, I guess, maybe you could use. The next one is the OR gate, so aptly named because this switch changes the output, or this switch. If they're both on, then obviously nothing's going to happen, and if they're both off, then it's still on. So either one is going to change it, no matter which one you use. But if both of them are on, then it's not going to help you much. So, next I'm going to teach you about repeaters. Now, how repeaters work is they stop the current from going the opposite direction. That's why they're also called a diode. In the electrical world, a diode is used to pass electrical current but prevent it from coming back in, so that way components don't get destroyed or stuff like that. So if I turn it on, you can see that the power goes all the way through, but if I turn it on from the other end, it won't go through. That's the point of a diode, or a repeater. Now, if you've got this complicated machine with all these repeaters facing all these different ways, well, then how are you supposed to know which way it goes? Well, that's what this arrow here is for. This arrow shows you exactly which way that the current can go toward, and which way it can't. So if you're going into the arrow, then that's wrong. It's not going to work. So you have to go that way. It points which way the current can go. And also, for the repeater, you can change it like this to set how far the delay is. So you can see that took a while to get over there, as opposed to it doing that and just go all the way through. And that's how repeaters work. One tricky dumb thing about repeaters is if you power a block, it only gets powered from behind it. It can't get powered from under it, so that's why that right there doesn't work. You would think that if you powered this block, then it should power that, but no, you'd be wrong. And while we're on that topic, powering blocks, if you power a block, it's going to power anything else that you put on adjacent to it. So if I stick a piston on there and I turn that on, then it's going to move the piston. So if I put one up there, right there, and over there, Well, all those are adjacent to it, right? So it's going to turn every single one of them on. Just like that. But it's only ones that are directly adjacent to it. If it's diagonal to it like that, then it's not going to work. And here's why. One thing that doesn't work is if I power this block, and then I put that block on top of it, and turn that on, technically this block is powered, right? Because it powers every block adjacent to it. So if I stick a piston on there, it should work, right? Wrong. The only way that it powers stuff adjacent to it is if it's directly a piston, or a door, or anything else you can put on there. It's not going to power a block and then power another block over. Otherwise it'd just go on forever. So that's what they did that for. Oh, I remember what I was going to tell you. These repeaters is just a simplified version of this. Since redstone current can only go for about 15 blocks before it dies, let me give you an example right here. It only goes so far until it dies. That's 15 blocks. So what the redstone forefathers before us used to do is they would take a block and then a torch. Move this out of the way. Take a block and a torch, and then redstone, a block, and a torch. No, I lied. They would just take a block and a torch. So that way, they could just do that right there. And I can keep going. No, I had it right. Wow, I'm not on it today. So what they would do is, what this does is, since power's going right there, it powers this block, which turns this torch off, which means that that torch will still work. So therefore it carries the current. So that's what they used to do, and that's what basically this repeater does. If you had 15 blocks, like we did over here, and it stops right there, what you would do is just stick a repeater right there, and then keep going. That way the current can go on forever, and you can only have one block of space, as opposed to 5. Some more beginner stuff is pressure plates. Do not want to put them like that. Otherwise it will destroy our redstone. There's two kinds of pressure plates. There is the stone pressure plate, which works like that, and the wooden pressure plate. So, you're probably wondering, what's the difference? Well, it's not just decorative purposes. There is a difference. These stone pressure plates can only be controlled by you or other mobs that happen to walk on it. So if a creeper walks on it, it's still going to work. Or if you walk on it, or a cow, or a chicken. But here's the difference. This wood pressure plate can be activated by mobs, enemies, everything else, but it can also be operated by putting an item on it. So see how that one is powered by putting an item on it, but this one over here is not. So that's why that one works. You can use items. I guess that would be useful if you had a tree and you were chopping it down, and I don't know, you wanted to power something by falling saplings. You put a bunch of pressure plates around it. I don't know. That seems dumb. Little tutorial on torches. Torches can power the blocks adjacent to it, much like powered blocks can. So if I put a piston there, it's going to work there, there, and there. It's always going to work. And it also works if I put one on top of it. So it powers all of them around it and on top, much like a block does. So, this has been Lambrains on behalf of the Redstone Factory, and remember, keep crafting.